Hello. Welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Friday, the 14th of April. Well, we're halfway through the month already. It's incredible. So today is a sort of, people like Funny Friday, so I'm trying to keep it a little bit lighthearted today. I'd like to talk about gratitude, a heart filled with gratitude. What does that look like? What is gratitude? What do you think gratitude is? Well, I think of the word grateful. Gratitude, grateful. And not like the Grateful Dead, but grateful, like being happy about something, being filled with thanksgiving for something, being really appreciative of something. And I think that this Easter week, we're kind of wrapping up here. We had Holy Week last week. This week we have Easter week. These first 7 or 8 days after the Easter Day event, the resurrection event. Um, I think something that I wanted to think about in Easter is about being grateful and being filled with gratitude, having a heart filled with gratitude. Sometimes it's hard to remember how to be filled with gratitude. There's so much going on in the world. There's so much crap on the news, and there's BS at home, and your workplace might be like, okay, everybody needs to, it's those, we're into the beginning of spring and it still isn't spring, and everybody's just kind of like, "Ah," I just want to, throttle somebody. And sometimes it's really hard to be grateful. So you count your blessings. What things are you grateful for? I am grateful for Tim Hortons. This is the Canadian version of Tim Hortons here. We originated it. It's not American. It started in Canada with the great hockey player Tim Horton. Anyway, I'm grateful for Tim Hortons. And I'm grateful that the Tim Hortons that I go to in Wainwright when I'm off to Vermilion or wherever I'm going, I pick up my tea because for a couple of weeks there, their steeped tea machine wasn't working. And Wainwright is not exactly the hotbed of the world where, there's a million steeped tea machines that need to be fixed and they're going to work hard to get there. It took over a week for them to get their steeped tea machine fixed. Now, mind you, their drive-through kept me from not going there because I go in and order my steeped tea and be well, no, the machine's still not working. And then, have you ever been in one of those drive-throughs where you cannot physically exit the drive-through? You can't make your order? Like there's the medians on both sides of the drive, and there's people in front of you and people behind you, and there's no way of getting out unless you just say, I'm not going to order anything, and then wait and wait and wait and wait. So I just got coffee. I do not like Tim Hortons coffee. I prefer McDonald's coffee, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so they now have their steep tea machine working and it's up and running, and I appreciate my steep tea. And I think other people probably do too, because the caffeine in my steep tea is what keeps me from being completely non-human first thing in the morning. If you're the first person to talk to me in the morning and I haven't had my coffee or my tea, you don't want to be the first person to talk to me. Trust me. Ask my husband. It's not a pretty sight. So I'm grateful for my steep tea. I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful that God brought someone into my life who makes me laugh and that I can make him laugh. Usually he's laughing at me, not with me, but hey, giggle's a giggle. I'm grateful for someone who understands my moods and who understands the way I think, even when I don't understand the way I think. Someone who puts me back on the right track and someone who bumps me off when I need to, get out of my rut. I'm grateful for my dog, Dude, who is the love of my life, my little fur child. Rob would kill me if he heard me refer to him that way, but I feel fairly safe that he's not going to watch this. Dude is my 9-year-old puppy who is a 94-pound chocolate lap dog who thinks that I am there for his every beck and call. And I pretty much am. He is spoiled rotten, but he spoils me rotten. So, for that, it's an easy transaction thing. Filled with gratitude for my dog, filled with gratitude for the life that I live, for the home I live in, for the job I have. They say if you love your work, if you love your job, you'll never work a day of your life. Well, there are days when I work some pretty long days, but at the same time, I love what I do. I am a priest by vocation, and a lot of what I get to do as a priest, while tiring and taxing of the mind and sometimes heartbreaking, is often beautiful and joyous. A couple of weeks ago, I had the privilege of celebrating, officiating at a wedding between a couple of young people, Jamie and Chelsea, who are so very much in love. They're a military couple, and she's going to learn quickly what it is to be a military wife. And just to see the looks on two people's faces when their whole world is opening out before them. They've lived together for a while. There's no surprises that they're aware of. That was what makes it a surprise, though, isn't it? But they have this ability to look forward in their lives and say what might happen. And this is a great adventure. It's for that I have great gratitude. The couple of days before the wedding, I buried the wife of a man I'd not met before, but had the privilege of sitting down and speaking with him and a friend. And listening to Vic talk about his wife, Anne, reminded me, after 55 years of marriage, the incredible gift that marriage is, that I am participating in at 17 and a half years married. I've got a few years to go before I hit 55. But recognizing that it's not all hearts and roses, but the great gratitude in marriage is the friendship and the iron sharpening iron and the ability to give of yourself and allow the other to give of themselves to you. Incredible, isn't it? When we open ourselves to gratitude, when we open our hearts and really take a good look at those things that we are thankful for, it completely changes our mindset, doesn't it? When I think about this past couple of weeks, after the wedding, the week before, a week and a half before Easter, when my like the busiest time of my year, I got sick as a dog. And then I made my husband sick as a dog, and with his heart, that worries me. All of those things, they had me bogged down, and I was terrified. How am I going to get all my work done? And what am I going to do if I've made Rob sicker than he needed to be? And all those, the loop, that negative loop that gets in your head. But then I was reminded by people and circumstances and things that I read to be grateful, to think about gratitude, even if it's like when you're trying to sleep at night and you can't sleep and you're counting sleep or the count their blessings thing. And, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's really hard to count your blessings. But when you start, it's kind of like a snowball. When you make a little snowball and you roll it down a hill and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The more you let it go, the bigger it gets. Well, it's kind of like that with gratitude. I could go on all day long naming things for which I am grateful. All I'd have to do is look around me because everything I see is a gift from God. And that fills my heart with joy and peace and gratefulness. So I have two choices. I can, if I find myself sort of heading toward misery, I can choose to go there. And all that will happen, I know was what will happen. I will, instead of getting like a snowball going downhill and getting bigger, I will end up in a mud puddle that looks an awful lot like quicksand, and I will just simply sink into it and feel unable to get out and pray that somebody will come along and pull me out. That's what happens if I get miserable. Or I can choose to focus on the positive, to focus on those things I'm grateful for. And it's funny because once you start saying, well, I really appreciate so and so. I really appreciate my sisters, Anna and Jennifer. Well, then that reminds me, hey, I appreciate my cousins too, and I got too many to name. And I appreciate my nieces and nephews. I appreciate Victoria and Danielle and Quinn and Aiden and Rayanna. And I appreciate, wait a minute, I appreciate my neighbors. Jill and Christian and Robert and Katrina. And I appreciate the people I work with. And lo and behold, it's not very hard before I'm now thinking of all the different things I can be thankful for. And that's a much better place to be than in quicksand, isn't it? So if you're having a great day, it should be really easy to just name off all the reasons why it's a great day today and why it's going to be an awesome weekend. If you're not having a great day, if this Friday this video finds you kind of feeling down, then look around you and find one thing for which you are grateful and focus on that. And then allow your brain to move to a second thing and a third and a fourth. Even if you only come up with 5 things you're grateful for, then you've recognized that you have 5 blessings in your life. And that's a great way to start a weekend. So as you go about your day and as you head into your weekend, I pray that you have a very grateful day, that you find that you have a heart filled with gratitude. And if you don't, that's your homework. Figure out what you're grateful for and then live into that. And you might just discover that you create your own party of gratefulness. And it's a good way to start the weekend. So I'm going to sign off. You have a great weekend. I will see you Sunday if you'd like to join me for Gospel on the Go and the second Sunday of Easter. Or I will see you on Monday for Church at Home with Rachael on the 17th. God bless you. And I am grateful that you joined me today.